If you haven't seen Schindler's List, believe it or not, this video is already containing a spoiler, so I highly suggest that you go watch it and then come watch this video. Here are some very, very minor spoilers, as in I'm going to tell you what it's about in the vaguest of ways. So if you want to stay for that, you can, but if you want to go totally untainted, go watch it now. Schindler's List is a movie about Nazi Oskar Schindler, who decides to buy an enamelware producing factory and employs Jews to work in it. And all around him, the Nazis are enacting their ultimate plan. So now that you've heard a synopsis, go watch it. I'm not going to sit here and leave this running for 5 hours while you go watch it, but go watch it, and then come back. I'll still be here. So I want to talk about Schindler's List. But more than talking about Schindler's List, I want to analyze Schindler's List. Also, if you haven't picked up on it, the video's in black and white because the movie's in black and white. I want to talk about the very last scene in particular. Well, not the very last scene, the second to last scene. I want to talk about when Oskar Schindler has saved his 1,100 factory workers, and he's just about to flee. And it's the scene where he is weeping over still possessing his car and still possessing his Nazi party pin, and how he could have bought 10 Jews with his car and at least one with his pin. And the Jews in the factory, specifically Yitzhak Stern, present him with a ring that says, in Hebrew, "Whoever saves one life saves the world entire." But I walked out of history class on Friday into the hallway, and last week was also my school's Spirit Week, and we had done hallway decorations. My school has house systems, kind of, so each house got a hallway to decorate. And I looked around, and I knew that we had spent like $70 on supplies. And I knew that that afternoon, after the pep rally, everything would be torn down and thrown away. Or at the very least saved until next year when it would be thrown away. How many lives could we have saved with those $70? Or at least we could have improved one. I was just so awestruck by all the extravagance I saw. How many layers of clothing did I wear on Wacky Tacky Day, and how many clothes do I own? What is the immense extravagance of a laptop and a smartphone? Why do I have so many pens? So many writing utensils? Why did I do that? Why do we do anything? Does our selfishness make us murderers? Is there some level of culpability we have? I genuinely think so. But then, can you ever do enough? Would I ever be satisfied? I went on a date after school that day, and it was super great. The dates I go on always are. I didn't get home till pretty late, and I wasn't really ready for bed until like around midnight. And then I spent 2 hours searching for one of my old yearbooks. Because that sentence, "He who saves one life saves the world entire," kept playing through my mind, and I thought maybe if I found what I was looking for, it would alleviate some of this immense guilt I was feeling. I didn't find the yearbook until the next day, but in it, I found what I was looking for. I found a note where one of my friends from the class I was originally slated to graduate with, and in my yearbook, they had written about how I had saved them. And I read it, and for 2 seconds I felt so much better, because look, there was evidence I had in fact saved the world entire. But then I just felt like Oskar. There's never enough. There's never enough work done. And even if I spent the rest of my life and did nothing other than saving people, I would still feel so guilty over all the time and resources I've wasted up to this point. So, we're always gonna feel like shit. What does that mean we do? Does that mean I don't want people watching Schindler's List because I don't want them feeling like shit? Well, obviously not, because I just told everybody at the beginning to go watch it. So I was just editing this video and I realized that my camera stopped recording before the video finished, which is problematic because that's the whole message right there at the end. So what's the point of all of this if we're always just gonna feel like shit? And if there's never enough to be done, what do we do? Where do we go from here? I think it's pretty clear that we just need to do our best anyway. That we need to make as much change as possible anyway. That we need to shove our own feelings of guilt down as far as they can go and ignore them and realize that it doesn't matter whether we satisfy them or not, and that we just need to keep pushing and keep acting, because we don't save people's lives for our own personal moral satisfaction. That is the stupidest reason to save somebody's life I have ever heard of in my entire life. You save somebody's life so they can go on living, so that they get a second chance. You save somebody's life because it's the right thing to do, not because it makes you feel good about yourself. So Schindler's List is a wake-up call to do the right thing, even though you're gonna feel like shit for not doing enough, because you can never do enough. You do as much as you can, and when you think you've done enough, you realize that you haven't, and if you can do more, then you do more. And if you absolutely cannot do more, then maybe, just maybe, you can somehow learn to be satisfied with what you've done. But really, in light of all the recent political events, just love your neighbor as yourself. And be ready to do whatever it takes to keep your neighbor alive. The epilogue is in color because it symbolizes the hope after the Holocaust has ended. And the lives that Schindler saved, he gave them a second chance. And we are the hope of this age. We are the second chance for so many people who we haven't even encountered yet, who we will help, who we don't know, but we are going to help, which is why this part is in color. I hope you have a great day. And watch the movie.